Screencast Guru is everything about Camtasia. That's my specialist area. I'm a recommended Camtasia trainer, and what you're seeing on the screen now is one of my favorite effects, and we can do it with this background or we could even do it with this background, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do this technique today. Really hope you like the video, and as always, if you do, please like it, please share it, please comment on it, and of course join me on my new project Screencast Guru. Let's get started. Now obviously the secret to this effect is that we've kind of got this circle here, but yet the video is still visual in the background and I'm on the screen. And the way that I've done that, and if I just play through the video, you can see here a few examples. I really like this idea that you've kind of got this cutout of me, and that's done using a mask. And then what I've done, as well as adding a mask, is I've added a border. But then what I've also done is within that mask, only within that mask, I've removed the background color. And by doing so, it creates that effect. So I'm going to take you through exactly now how this is done. And one really interesting thing is I've actually done this using my webcam. So super low expense, no super duper cameras. The only thing is I have got a green screen behind me, and you'll see that in a minute. So to do this effect, the first thing I did was I recorded using screen capture, or using just simply choosing the webcam option. I've just recorded my webcam using Camtasia, okay? Which if you click on the record button, you always have the option to turn off the screen capture and just turn on the webcam and just do a webcam recording. Now, as soon as I do that, I just need to do a couple of things. I need to come in, the magic button is here, it's visual effects. And the first visual effect that I'm going to need to set up is to just come down and choose mask. And I'm just going to drag that mask onto the screen. And immediately you see that it kind of sends this mask around me. And it makes this, it kind of circles this area. Now you might find that you're not kind of positioned in the center, and you can kind of pull these little side bits out of here to get it yourself nice and centered. So that's the first thing. The second thing then, and this is a bit more tricky, is to come up to the border and drag the border onto the webcam. So I'm going to drag it on here. I can drag it on here, or I can drag it on here. So drag the border on the webcam. Now coming over to the properties of that border, there's one really important button, and this is the one that people often don't realize. You need to click on this because you don't want the border around the whole of the video. You want it only around this, what we call the alpha channel. So click on use alpha, and then you can pull the thickness of that, and suddenly you've got a lovely thick border. Now you could change the color, so you could change and have a completely different color border if you wanted to. Now the next thing that you need to do is to simply add in your background. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how you add the background so that what you've got behind you, the effect, is either a video or a picture. And you'll see that it's incredibly flexible. And not only that, Camtasia actually provides tons of backgrounds that we can use. Just one thing, this way of doing an introduction or speaking on the screen is really interesting, but there are some other brilliant ways of doing this in Camtasia. And I did make a video about using device frames, and that's another feature that you might want to look at if you want to kind of produce that kind of wow factor. And I'll put that video on the screen now. Let's look at adding backgrounds to our videos. So I'm going to bring that recording up onto the second track. Okay, I'm going to just drag it up onto the second track because I need to put something underneath. Now, what you put underneath is really up to you, but one really handy thing is that you can just click over to the libraries, go to the Camtasia library, and I've got Camtasia 2024, so it will be the Camtasia 2024 library, but you may have an earlier version. They've also got libraries as well, especially Camtasia 24 and 23. And one really nice area to get a nice effective background is to choose in the dynamic backgrounds, just to choose, say for example, here I've got dynamic backgrounds, and I've also got something called underneath called dynamic fills. It's also quite good, but we'll work with the dynamic backgrounds. I'm going to do something really jazzy, really lively. So I'm going to drag this onto the screen and put that underneath. Now, the nice thing about these dynamic direct backgrounds is that you can pull them out. Now, you can see that it's already looking quite good, but there's of course one problem. We haven't created that effect where the video seems to be in the background even around me. At the moment, you can clearly see that I recorded myself talking with a green screen behind me. I've just got a simple green screen behind me and a couple of lights to kind of light myself up and make myself really clear. So there's one final trick that we need to do to make this work, and that is that we need to come over to the visual effects again, come down, and the one that we want to do is to remove color. And I want you to drag that onto, or well, you can do it either way. You can drive it onto the webcam, or you can, or I normally actually drive it onto the actual track and leave it on top of the video. Now, coming over to the properties again, and if the properties aren't open, just click on them. Coming over to the properties, it says remove color. Well, what color do you want to remove? Well, click on the color picker and say, I want to remove that color. And voila, we've got the effect. Okay, a couple of last things to show you. Just to mention, I did use the Camtasia assets there. And if you don't know much about the Camtasia assets, there's a great video that you can watch. And I'll put it on the screen now. And that goes into detail about Camtasia assets. So what I want to do now is just really quickly show you a couple of interesting things about the assets that you can use as your background. Okay? Now I'm just going to show you one final thing that's really interesting. So if I just play this so you can now see how good it's looking. Camtasia, that's my specialist area. I'm a recommended Camtasia trainer. And what you're seeing on... Okay, so just to point something out that a lot of people don't realize, these dynamic backgrounds, there's so many things in Camtasia, are completely updatable. And you can do things like, and I've got it now selected, so I've clicked on this background and I've got my properties again here that I can play with. Now just to really just show you a couple of really simple ones. Look, I could click here, choose another color, and voila, now the background's completely updated. So I can do that, that's one thing, but I can even do other things as well. Again, if I make sure that I'm selecting that background, I want to select that background, okay? Let's say I want to increase the count, and increase the number. You can make it even more kind of crazy. Okay, I really love playing around with these different properties. Okay, really hope you found that video useful. Please subscribe to my new channel, Screencast Guru. And don't forget, if you want to stay updated with all the latest videos, the webinars, etc., I have started now a newsletter, which I only send out every 2 weeks, as I'm aware that many people get inundated with these newsletters. But it's to let you know of any webinars, any courses, or any new videos. And you can sign up to the newsletter below in the description. I'll leave a click there. I'm going to leave another video on the screen now that I think you might find interesting, and it's about the additional free assets that are available in Camtasia that very few people know about, and I'm going to put that on the screen now, and thank you very much.